So the reason I say that is, first of all, you're showing up here as the Knight of Swords in the reverse position. And this is basically telling you to slow down, and it's basically telling you as well, listen to your heart. Okay, make decisions based on your heart rather than the rational cerebral part of your brain, where you get yourself in situations and you try to rationalize it, but if your heart's not feeling it, it's basically your intuition, your gut instinct telling you that you're headed down the wrong path. So move forward and listen to your heart a little bit more. Now let's talk about this reading here. In the past position, we have the Tower. This is a pretty difficult card. It's in the upright position. So it's basically indicative of some jolt to the system, something that you have relied on, that you have depended on, has been problematic for you. And I feel like for a lot of you, it might deal with your comfort. It might deal with, the people, the environment that you find comfort and stability in. So this is like shaky friendships, shaky relationships, situations where there might have been a lot of conflict, and even, a change in scenery, a change in a housing environment. Okay. Which brings us to the present moment. We have the Five of Wands, and the Five of Wands is greatly about conflict. This is some type of conflictual situation that you have with another person. I do feel that this is somebody from your past that you have an extensive history with, okay? And I do sense as well, for those of you in relationships, it might revolve around third party, like flirtation and things like that. I don't feel that it's outright infidelity or anything like that. I feel like it's minor flirtation. It's minor, like stepping out of thinking or suspicions of other people stepping out of the relationship and things like that. I also feel like for a lot of you, this might just be friendships. I sense that if you've been, I feel almost as if you have deep rooted friendships. You have friendships with people that you've known for a while. And once in a while, it is really important to reassess if they're contributing to your growth, to your betterment, or if the people around you, surrounding you, have been gossiping, like people you trust gossiping or sharing, divulging your deepest secrets. So I feel like that's an energy that a lot of you might have dealt with in February, even in the beginning of March. And you're in a position where you could potentially as well go through interview processes. And this is a card about interview as well. If your potential employers are discussing you, in a way, it's kind of like gossip, but it's more like concrete talks about you, where they're trying to assess your skills. They're discussing you amongst each other. Just to see if you have what it takes to proceed with whatever it is that you are applying for, okay? So it can play out in those two ways, but I definitely feel there were situations where you're getting like a lot of, you were put out of your comfort zone. You were jumping through a lot of hoops. I feel like there was a lot of busy energy around you. You might not have felt like, you might have felt very destabilized as a result of not being at home or not having a clear, concrete, stable environment to really feel restful and to really feel good in. Okay, so there might have been a lot of travel associated with this as well in the February and March. The Knight of Swords is the fastest moving knight in the deck, and it's also, there was a lot of momentum happening in the past, and I feel like things are starting to stabilize itself. Okay, things are stabilizing, but because you were so used to all that travel, all the movement that was happening in the past, life seems as if it's slowed down dramatically, and it seems like everything is so it's not exciting as much as you'd like. Okay, so I feel like in the process of trying to go out and seek excitement, I feel that it wouldn't be beneficial for you. The slow has to happen. Life is a series of ebb and flow. So whatever excitement, momentum that was happening in the past, now's the time for you to really take stock and plan out the next step in your life. And I feel like decluttering your environment is going to be a more productive use of your energy, because I feel like you're fired up and you're ready to go again. And in fact, there's a lot of stability here in this spread, which indicates to me that phase of your life is over. Is now really important for you to settle down. Think about long-term planning when it comes to where you want to live, where you want to be. Think about the practicalities surrounding new housing environment and your new future as well, okay? Crowning this reading is the Six of Cups, and this is a really, really good card. In the Rider-Waite deck, it is a card about, having a soul connection with another person. It's also having some type of, I'm reading it in a different light in this deck, mainly because this is a card about tears of happiness. So we also have the Star card. And both of these cards indicate to me wish fulfillment coming at you very, very quickly and rapidly, okay? Crowning this reading is something that you really want, and you really want to materialize it, and you really want to celebrate. You want it to come into your life, so because it has always been like a childhood dream. That's what I feel like. Something is being achieved this month where you are going to be able to, whatever it was that was, your childhood dream is coming to fruition. It's basically coming to light, and you are going to be able to achieve it. So not only will you achieve that physical, tangible thing that you've been wanting, pining since you were a child, it's also lighting a new path for you to move forward, okay? And I feel that it would be really, really good for you to just take a moment and plan out in a realistic way how you're going to make the most out of this experience, and what your steps are, concrete steps are for the next few years, all right? So I feel like it seems to me like March was a really, really good month for a lot of signs in general in terms of propelling their life forward. And it's not just a small series of changes. I feel like they're big, sweeping changes that will require you to basically, get a handle on it and to really solidify some plans around it in order to make sure that success is not an option, basically. I feel like some big momentous sweeping changes is coming into your life, and you're getting something that you've always desired since you were a child. And I feel like it's bringing in really new, good energy. You are very, very ecstatic and very excitable. And I feel like you can't even contain your excitement. I feel for a lot of you, this might be, I don't feel like it's love or things like that. It can be. But what I'm sensing more is like it's more like long-term achievements, okay? So whatever you classify as achievements, this can be work, this can be school, this can be just, getting some type of grants, something long-term, something that's going to affect you in the long run, like for the next phase of your life. And I would say 5-7 years almost, all right? What's coming through as well, we have in the advice position, we have the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands shows up as a fire sign. So this is Sagittarius, Aries, and Leo. So this is an energy that the advice here is, as the advice, it's not so much of a person because it's in the advice position. That once again, going back to the indecisiveness, going back to, taking charge and taking initiative. This is something that you are going to have to do. So the advice here is not to rest on your laurels, but to really look at this opportunity for what it truly, truly is. And it's once in a lifetime, I feel, for a lot of you. So you really want to nurture it. You really want to foster it. So that basically means building plans, concrete plans, lay down some guidelines or something like that in order for your situation to basically come to fruition and to basically, I feel like you have a once in a lifetime opportunity. Is not to be taken lightly, okay? And this is something I want to emphasize as well, that you were being groomed for. And I feel like through your sheer determination and hard work, you were able to achieve it. So the work is not over yet. It's within grasp, or at least it's emerging from the sky in order to fall into your periphery. So the hard work is not over yet. So it's not time to take a step back and detach yourself. It's really important for you to foster it. Okay. So this is basically the fairy godmother card. It's basically telling you to nurture it, continue to nurture your skills. If you have landed like an opportunity of a lifetime in terms of research, for example, spend the next few months between now and when the new project starts to really brush up on your skills, to really study up, because I feel like this is an energy that is telling you want to start it off and you want to start it off right. So that means accumulating knowledge in the meantime, okay? with the fairy godmother card in the reverse position, I feel like one of the things they want to emphasize is, Libras, I feel it's almost like, you know where you're headed, and you know that the next phase of your life is going to be very, very challenging, not in a bad way. And um, going back to the yearly reading, I did mention for Libras, I believe, that this is a year of very, very steep learning curves. So I feel like this is what the cards are telling you, that you have some challenges ahead. Even though you have achieved this, even though you have overcome a lot in your life, it's really important to persevere, push forward. This is a really powerful year for you in terms of creating a legacy for yourself, in terms of like creating that foundation for you, in terms of like accumulating knowledge, so that towards the end of the year you can soar and you can be okay. So that's what I'm feeling like. It's not that the universe is abandoning you with the fairy godmother card in the reverse. It's that they want you to know the next few years will be very, very challenging. It is going to require hard work and dedication. It's not a year for the next few years. It's not a time to slack off. So get all the fun in right now. And I feel like for the next phase, whenever you implement the next phase, it's going to be pretty much hit the ground running. And whatever you put in is what you're going to get out of this situation. So be very, very realistic about it, okay? I do feel like, I do sense that there's a lot of preparation work before the new phase begins. So if it's a new job, there's some preliminary work, research that you have to do. If it's a new relationship even that you feel is going to bring you a lot of this is new relationship. If it's like a new phase in your life where you might have broken up or divorced a partner, and I feel like somebody else might come through for you. There's a lot of prep work that needs to be done on your end before you can re-engage or before you start the new thing. Okay. So external to your environment, we have the Magician in the reverse position. The Magician in the reverse in your external environment indicates to me deception, and it can indicate manipulation coming in from your people around you. So I feel friendships, gossip. So I feel like it's coming through from friendships. This is a time for you to reassess the information that you're getting from other people, especially if you're dealing with another air sign. So Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. And especially if you're dealing with a fire sign, Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries. And, you know, obviously, this is not going to apply to all, but I want you to be careful about just distortion of information, and just the information that comes through to you. If it's coming in from like one other person, you want to be very, very careful, and just to see like what you see is really what you're getting, because I feel like somebody's trying to sell you a dream. I feel that way. Somebody's trying to sell you a dream. And unless you filter through this information, you might not, you might fall for it, and you might end up very, very disappointed. The other thing I'm sensing as well is if it's coming from like friends and, you know, things like that, if someone is like selling you a dream, and I feel like your intuition will kick in and it's telling you, oh, that's not going to work. So, you know, it's best not to do that. Okay. It's just best not to get involved. If your hunches are telling you something is wrong or it's too good to be true, it probably is for the rest of this month. So be very careful. In terms of your hopes and fears, I feel like a lot of you have put a lot of stock into this new endeavor. We have here the Nine of Cups, which is a wish card. This is a card about fear of disappointment, fear of failure, fear of like worst case scenario. So if, for example, you've been waiting on some once in a lifetime research opportunity, career opportunity, something coming in very swiftly, and you're just thinking as if I don't deserve it, I don't know if I'm good enough. Well, the thing here is you definitely have an offer on the table for you, okay? So I feel that you just want to be careful, but if this is like some long-term, some long-range plans that you have prepared for, and especially if it is like a childhood dream of yours and finally it's coming in for this month, I feel that it can be realized and it can be very, very fruitful. But the planning stages that you're going to have to take surrounding that dream to make it come to fruition, or to make sure that it is stable enough, it's going to be very important, because I feel like in the outcome position, it can go one of two ways. First of all, there is an offer for those of you who are single, and even those who are in stable relationships. I definitely feel there is a portal open for past relationship partners to come in. Be very careful. If you have been engaged, or, if you have been possibly engaged, if you were engaged with an air sign or a fire sign, be very, very careful. I don't feel that the situation is going to end up very nicely. If you are re-engaging with an ex, I rarely feel that that can work out. With exes, I just don't feel that it's a good idea overall, okay? There is an offer coming through from your end, and I definitely feel this is like soulful communication, where somebody is basically telling you, either re-engage with me in this relationship, or there's something like that. I definitely feel that you want to be careful. Listen to your heart. Listen to your heart and see what it wants. If your gut and your heart tells you, I love them, but I feel like something is off, you're probably better off leaving it alone. Okay. And I know that it's easier said than done, because oftentimes our heart tells us one thing and our mind tells us another. But I'm seeing this as like, I mentioned before, listen to your heart. Your heart is like your gut, your intuition as well. So despite how you feel, if you feel like something's off, most likely it is. So trust it, okay? You are coming into very, very intense spiritual development, as well as insights, as well as seeing through the veneer, seeing through the superficiality of other people and their promises. You are also in a position where you are going to have to basically wake up and do some long-term planning, is what I'm sensing, okay? And obviously, this is not going to apply to all. I've known quite a few Libras who are very, very on top of the game, and who are very methodical, because Libras, as the is like the most concentrated and the most directed air sign of the zodiac. So I feel that once you put your mind to something, despite the indecisiveness, once you decide on a course of action, things usually come to success with you. But what I feel is like, in this situation, it basically means the hard work is not over yet. You have to still plan some more. You have to do some preparation before you start this new venture. Okay. So for those of you who have been dealing with really, really difficult situation when it concerns relationships, and you feel like you can't trust again, I feel like a new love situation, and it seems to be a very strong karmic link with another person, is coming through. Okay. However, there is some preparation work that needs to happen on your end first, to heal up your past, to grieve your past, to grieve to mourn that process, to mourn the passing away of one thing before you can begin another. Okay, that's just the natural progression of life. We can't step into new things if we're still got one foot in the old thing. So that's just the way life works. Okay, that's just the way energy works. So make sure you clear up your energy field before you step into the new venture. Likewise, I feel like for those of you who this applies to as a project, a major work assignment or something like that you've dreamt of, and finally it's like within reach, there's still that last leg of the journey that needs to be pushed through. So that means doing the preparation work for yourself to make sure you're off to a good start. If you're starting at a new company, do some preliminary background on that company. Look at their pay scale, look at their glass ceiling, look at their I guess like their opportunities for promotion, and figure out what's the best way for you to streamline yourself to get into the not only the door. I feel like a lot of you are already in the door, so you're trying to find ways to advance and to create, like to make the opportunity the best that it can be. I feel like it's going to be much better for you to start planning now, because I feel like it's not time to rest just yet. You can't sail, you can't coast just yet. Okay, so in alignment with that yearly reading, it's a gradual climb. So the learning curves are a little bit steep in your next environment. So prepare yourself now. Do the preliminary work needed in order to expand yourself, in order to expand your knowledge base, and things like that. Okay, so I feel that it's going to be a very fruitful next 2 weeks. At least good news are coming through. All right, but especially for those in love relationships, I feel that it would be really, really important for you if you have a partner right now and there's rumors circulating around and you're catching wind of it regarding your partner. I feel that your partner is sincere, and I feel like you might want to reassess or look at where the information is coming from. I feel there might be jealousy around your environment, and it's not good. So confront the source of the jealousy, confront the people that are, if it's linked up with rumors, you can't let them get away. You need to hold them accountable for the things that they're saying about other people. So this applies to, not only if it's about your significant other, but you want to hold people accountable for their actions, and especially for their words, okay? And especially if their words are like hurting somebody's reputation, for example. So holding people accountable, I feel like that's something you're going to have to step up and do. And I feel like you're going to have to take an offensive stance. So this is basically standing up for the things that you believe in as well.